Good morning. It's Saturday morning, and I'm doing coffee talk this morning on a weekend because I feel like it, because I have something to share and I want to talk to you about it. It's the kind of nice thing about having coffee talk is I feel like I get to talk to you about things that are in my head, and then I get to hear back from you, and then it feels like a conversation, and that's one of my favorite things. So first off, coffee this morning, not exciting. I am drinking leftover black coffee. Somehow, some way, this coffee was already hot this morning. I feel like my husband must have been up in the middle of the night or got up super early and drank some and then went back to bed. Because otherwise, I have no idea how leftover coffee got hot. But since it was hot, I didn't make a fresh pot. So I'm drinking yesterday's leftover coffee in this plain old robin egg blue mug that I like very much. It's not a special mug though. Nobody gave it to me as a gift. But I like it. And sometimes that's good enough. And I actually have no idea what this is because I'm not a huge fan of leftover coffee. And I think it could be the same coffee as yesterday, but my husband made a second pot yesterday. So I'm not sure what this coffee is. It tastes pretty good for leftover coffee. It's not the end of the world. In a couple minutes, I'm actually getting ready to go out to the park. We're going to do a little workout in the park this morning. And so I'm going to need some real coffee. And I think that's why I'm not too brokenhearted over it, is because I plan to get a healthy whack of cold brew here in a few minutes. I wanted to share something with you for Coffee Talk message this morning, and I think it's really interesting. So my daughter, Georgia, she's about 2.5. And before I was pregnant with her, I was doing a lot of weightlifting, like Olympic lifting, snatch, which is like the bar starts on the floor and it ends up over your head. Clean and jerk, it starts on the floor, it goes to your shoulder, and then it goes overhead. And then CrossFit kind of stuff. It was like the kind of exercise that I mostly enjoyed doing. I was even competing in Olympic lifting. So I was doing it a lot. And then after having Georgia, or during my pregnancy, I obviously couldn't do that. And so I still kept exercising and walking quite a bit. But then after having her, it took a little while before my body felt good to be able to do that kind of exercise again. And about, I don't know, 9 months ago, I think I started trying to do those kind of things again. And my shoulder got hurt. I've never had a hurt shoulder. If you know me, I've had quite a few knee surgeries, like 10 for real, not exaggerating, 10. But I have been fortunate and not had a shoulder injury really. Maybe I've had like a little tweak here and there, but nothing that hurts. This hurt, and it hurt a lot, like all the time. Every time I would try to do something, I could feel my shoulder hurt. And I was so annoyed, honestly, because I couldn't like make any progress on the things I wanted to do. I felt like I couldn't anyway, because every time I would try to do something with that bar, or I would try to work on my pull-ups, my shoulder would hurt. And I started looking for solutions. And I think my actually shoulder got hurt because of the position that my body's in all the time. So from holding Georgia like a baby, like your shoulders are rounded forward to hold a baby. I also breastfed her for 15 months. And so I think that partially plays into it too, because you're holding your body in a particular way. And then typing and computer stuff and everything put my shoulders forward. And so I think that's how my shoulder injury happened. So when I heard it, I really started to get desperate to try to fix it. I asked a couple friends who are PTs. I started like looking up online, like the anatomy of a shoulder. I was trying to figure out like what the heck is broken in here. My friend who's a PT said that she didn't think I tore anything, but it didn't matter because it kept hurting. It still hurt. It was bothering me all the time. And so I even downloaded a couple different programs. Like I purchased a shoulder fixer program, and I started trying to roll out and use mobility tools and kind of like foam rollers and those kind of things. I was like trying anything. Well, at some point I did download this one program, and it didn't tell me how to fix the part of my shoulder that hurt. Funny enough. You'd think it would. But what it did do is tell me how I should be sitting throughout the day, like posture wise, how I should correct my shoulder position. And I was like, huh. And sitting differently with like a slightly different posture, I could feel it stretching on my shoulder. And I was like, wow. And just doing a couple of little changes about how I sat really started to make a difference. It was the first thing that I did that I was like, okay, that actually feels like it's getting a little bit better, but it wasn't all the way better. And during the fitme Maryland event, I saw my friend Tori, who is an incredible massage therapist, but also a movement specialist. And I told her about my shoulder, and I was like, I'm so annoyed. It's like still hurting. And she looked at it and she's like, it's sitting too far forward in your shoulder, like pocket. It's in the wrong position. And so when you lift your arm up overhead, it's pinching. It's not in the right position. And I was like, well, let's make it go back in the right position then. And she's like, well, your muscles that hold it in the right position are not firing the way they should. And it was so funny to me because, again, I've studied bodies, I've done all of this stuff, and it hadn't dawned on me that I could not flex the muscles that tied into the shoulder. So over the next couple of weeks, I started doing a handful of exercises, both the ones that I downloaded from the program that pulled my shoulder back into position and that changed my posture, and the ones that Tori suggested, the ones that like basically brought my shoulder into the pocket differently. And the pain started going away. And now, yesterday, my workout was one of the first ones that I've done where it really wasn't an issue. That shoulder doesn't feel quite as strong as the other shoulder, but it's not hurting anymore. It's taken a couple weeks. But the reason that I'm telling you this is this coffee talk message is because sometimes when we find pain or discomfort, we start to like beat on the pain and discomfort, instead of it being interpreted as a signal that something is wrong. Hold on, I'm going to let this puppy in. Hang on. Coffee talk timeout. Sorry. She's barking at the back door like a crazy dog. So what I'm saying is, I hope you're still here, is that I wanted to force my shoulder to stop telling me it was hurting. I wanted to relieve the pain so that I could go back to doing what I was doing. But the pain actually was telling me something. The pain was a signal from my shoulder to my brain, telling my brain that my shoulder was not in a good position and that it wasn't a safe position. And so I was interpreting the pain as a negative signal, and actually was a positive signal because my shoulder wasn't in a good position, and the way to relieve the pain was to put my shoulder in the correct position. And the reason that I'm telling you that is because we often interpret signals from ourselves, from our bodies, as something that's negative. We interpret something like, okay, well, I feel anxious when I'm around those people. And we're like, well, what is wrong with me? Like, why can't I just get it together so I can go, be around those people? But the anxiousness might be the pain signal. Maybe something's off and we need to take care of it instead of trying to force it through. Maybe we have these cravings and we're trying to put a Band-Aid on the pain. We're trying to like discipline or motivate ourselves through not acting on those cravings. And really, it's a pain signal. It's our body telling our brain something about the position needs to change. Maybe we haven't taken any time to de-stress. Maybe we haven't fed ourselves anything good all day. Maybe we are running from thing to thing to thing and haven't recharged. And so that craving signal is like pain. It's like saying, take care of me. And instead we try to just squash it and Band-Aid it. I feel like this message of listening to our bodies rather than being pissed and trying to squash and cover up everything is something that can be applied in so many categories. Because once we start to take care of our bodies and adjust the position that we're in, then the pain starts to get better. And so I just wanted to share this story with you about my shoulder. Like, I'm so grateful for my friend who's PT, who gave me some good advice. I'm so grateful for like the program that I downloaded, and like my friend Tori, who was able to help me, understand what was going on with my shoulder position. And I'm so glad that the pain is gone, but I'm also so glad that I understand like this lesson from this, which is that the pain was a signal. It was like a cry for help from my shoulder to my brain. Don't do that thing. It hurts. So I want you to listen to your body better today. That is your homework for today. I want you to pay attention to the signals that your body is sending you. What are the signals that your body is sending your brain? And I know that you want to squash them sometimes, but instead I want you to pay attention to them and see what's happening and see if it's not a bad position. Maybe you need to move yourself a different way. Maybe you need to fuel yourself differently. Maybe you need to take more rest or have better boundaries. Maybe you need to feel more confident about something, because then if you did, this wouldn't feel so crap. That's my coffee talk message for today. And it was on my mind after my workout yesterday, where my shoulder felt so good. And I wanted to share that with you because 6 weeks ago it didn't. And everything that I was doing was not fixing it. I had to change how I was sitting throughout my day. I had to change what muscles were using to support my shoulder. And then all of a sudden the pain went away. It was about support. It was about changing what I did on a daily basis. It was about stop trying to battering ram my way through. So I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. Enjoy your coffee this morning, and I will talk to you guys later. If you haven't done so, subscribe to Coffee Talk on your favorite podcast app and share it with a friend if you think that they would like it. It means a ton to me. And then if you are listening on the podcast and are not in our Facebook group, then come on over to fitme free intro. We will show you how to do diet-free and sustainable change. That's what we do in there. It's a free place for you to get to know FitMe, try things out, and see what it's like. And I look forward to seeing you in there. I'll talk to you later. Bye.